Today we're going to use Sublister to scan for subdomains. It's a fast, straightforward, and great recon tool. Now before we get started, I think it's important to understand what a domain and a subdomain is, right? So a domain, very, very simple to understand. It's things like Amazon.com or Google.com or Microsoft.com. That's the main domain. And then a subdomain of that would be maybe support.amazon.com or mail.google.com. Right? That's that subdomain associated with it. And so what does Sublister do? Sublister goes through and it scans for those subdomains so that we can quickly and easily find them. So why does it matter to actually scan for that subdomain? Well, oftentimes subdomains lead to older or forgotten servers, development or staging environments, admin panels, backup systems, exposed login pages, and worst of all, misconfigured applications. Attackers love these because they're usually less secure than the main website. So we need to make sure that those subdomains are quickly identified and make sure that there's nothing on there that shouldn't be. Now, as always, that responsible use kind of quota right there, right? Subdomain scanning is considered to be active reconnaissance. Don't do it on anything you don't own or don't have explicit permission to do so on. Our lab environment today is going to be using Kali Linux, and believe it or not, I'm not using Keyoptrix 1. I know, you're surprised. We're actually going to use Stapler as our target VM. Let's jump into it. First thing we need to do, let's get this in the background. We're going to start with a simple ifconfig. This is going to give us our IP address, just like so. We know we're operating on 10.8. For those that are brand new to this, let's circle it for you. There it is, 10.0.2.8 as we go through. Now, we're going to use nmap to find out where we are. Nmap is going to do attack SN. That attack SN is just going to do a quick ping scan to figure out exactly where the other IP addresses are so that we're not grabbing one we don't need. And if we look at this, we can kind of see that we're on 2.8. That's our Linux box. 2.13 is going to be Stapler. 2.3, 2.2, and 2.1 are all VMs as part of VirtualBox. We know that's not it right off the bat. So we know that our system is running on 2.13. Now, the first thing we need to do when we get into it is we actually need to set up a domain. Because Sublister does not actually use IP addresses, we have to set us up a domain inside the box. To do that, we're going to do a sudo and then nano /etc/host. That's going to provide this this kind of window for us. Now, I've already got Mr. Robot in there operating on .12. So now I'm going to do 10.0.2.13. I'm going to go right there. And since we're using Stapler, let's just call it stapler.local, just like that. I'm going to hit Control X, then Y, then Enter. That's going to get me over there. To make sure it works, I'm going to open up Mozilla Firefox, and I should be able to go to stapler.local to open up its website. Now, it's saying that it's not found, but it kind of is, believe it or not. This is quite all right. It is actually there, believe it or not. That is the correct screen for this website. All right, so here we go. Our first command that we're going to run this afternoon using Sublister. To start that, we're going to do Sublister. Remember, we're going to use an E instead of that R right there. And we've pretty much already got it written out in the code, but we're going to do attack D. This is the domain we're going to use, so stapler.local. And then we need to provide that output file for attack O. I'm just going to call it Stapler, and this should get us up and going, running through. Now, this is a typical error with virus total probably now is blocking the request. That's okay. We're going to keep letting it do what it does. Once it's complete, I should be able to hit LS, and you'll see that there is nothing because it's broken. Now, if I want to get rid of this little error right here, believe it or not, that's not that difficult. We're just going to do a Sublister, just like that, and we're actually going to add attack E to the very end. We can add then which of these we actually want to go through. So we can do ask, then we just do a comma, netcraft, we can do SSL, we can do Google, we can do passive DNS, and then we just run it, and it's going to go through. And you're probably wondering, okay, well, why are there errors there? It's because I can't help myself. Apparently, I love to put spaces after my commas. It's habit from writing too many essays. All right, there we go. Now it's going to run through, and we can see that Google is now blocking our request, but it is finishing the enumeration. Now, we're going to get an output, right? Or we expect it to get an output, I should say. If we do an LS, you'll notice there's no output there. Why is there no output if we ask for it? And why is it not detecting anything? Well, good question. The problem is that we are inside a virtual system. And because we're inside of a virtual system without an active DNS, mind you, that it's going through and it's looking on these third-party websites, searching for subdomains, but there aren't any because it's on a local domain. And so there's nothing to report. Now, this is a problem of working within a virtual environment like we are. But again, I don't have permission to go out there and start searching domains that are online using an active DNS. So we're going to keep on moving forward, but that's the command. That command is correct. It is exactly how it should be. Now, just in case you were thinking to yourself, you know, I really want to run this program against a legitimate domain because I want to be able to see the outputs. I want to be able to go through it. And I actually thought about doing that for you guys online. But then I thought to myself, I was like, you know, if I do that, then you're going to automatically assume that the website I'm running it against is open and free for all. And that's a problem because I don't know when you're actually going to look at this video and watch it. It could be, you know, 5 years from now, and that site could literally take off their bug bounty program, and now you're breaking the law. Now you're going on the black hat site. So instead, what I've decided to do is I'm taking you to HackerOne.com. Now, they have an entire website that has bug bounty programs associated with it. I'm going to provide that link below. You can do your own research. You can go through it and make sure it's a legitimate target in scope and legal to use recon activities on in a freely legal sense of the word to run this tool on. So you need to do your little bit of own research. Now, there are some points that I want to go into before you start rampantly going through and say, oh, well, Bank of United is on there. Well, let's take a look real quick, right? I'm going to look at Bank of United. I'm just going to click on it, and I want to point out, look, right here, they have their program. This does not mean that you have permission. That's not what this says, right? What it does say is if it goes program highlights, and if we start to scroll down, we can see an overview within it. And I want to point out a couple things here, right? Out of scope vulnerabilities, physical testing, social engineering, phishing, denial of service attacks, resource exhaustion attacks. All of those are out of scope, right? So before you start running into it, think to yourself, does this meet the out of scope points, right? If it doesn't, then I want you to go continue to read about it. Make sure that you're going to be on 100% safe. When in doubt, if ever you're like, I don't know if I can do this or not, just don't do it. Just don't do it. It's better not to take the risk. It's better not to go on that side, right? And so when you're going through it, this is a great website to actually kind of go through it. But we're not going to show that. I've already showed you the commands. That should be enough for today. Let's compare Sublister to two other tools. We have Avamask and then GoBuster. So best use case, Sublister, right? It's fast, OSINT-based subdomain. It's very fast, very easy to use, great for beginners. Weaknesses, not thorough, depends on an external search engine. There are some breaks in there that you have to be careful of. It's limited in its scope. I'd rate it on a 1 to 10 scale. For a lab environment, for a learning environment, I'd rate it like a 2 or a 3. It's not my favorite when it comes to from teaching in a lab environment. Amass, right? It's another great tool, very thorough, uses OSINT, DNS certs, ASN, it's professional grade results. It's slower, a little bit more complex. I've got a video on it already. Requires API keys for max results. It's good. I would rate Amass about a 7 in comparison. And then GoBuster, right? Brute force, virtual host, local and external servers. Works offline, great for internal labs, reliable and predictable. However, it has a word list dependency. There's fewer results because it doesn't have that outside lab kind of portion in there. But it's ideal for local VMs. I think I'm going to have to do GoBuster. I think I'm going to have to do GoBuster next. I think it's a lot better for this lab type of environment that we're learning in. So overall, that's my take on it. I would definitely go with something like GoBuster. GoBuster, I'm going to rate that one like an 8. For students, I think it's like an 8. I really do. Okay, that wraps up our Sublister demo. In your own labs, make sure you enumerate domains that you have domains listed in scope. Make sure there's an official bug bounty program. You can find authorized targets at HackerOne. We've already kind of gone over that. Make sure you're on the white hat side. I cannot express that fully enough. If there's a tool that you want some more information on, throw a comment down below and we'll see what we can't do. We'll see if we can't showcase that for you. Until next time, I'm Dr. K.